I'm Justisa and welcome to Dark History of Sweden. Today we are going to talk about a controversial case that happened a few years ago and is still talked about. Not only murder, but fraud and family drama. Today's topic is the woman from Arboga. I started this research like a year ago, but there is so much information and parts to this case that I was honestly a little bit overwhelmed and intimidated, to be honest. So I truly hope that I've covered everything that you guys need to know about this case. Johanna Möller grew up in the countryside with your average Swedish family. Mother, father, and a sister. While growing up, she had pretty good grades. As a teen, she trained gymnastics and quickly got her first boyfriend. Her mother remembers that there were quite a few problems with Johanna in her youth. For example, that it felt forced when she laughed or cried, like it was expected of her, and that she did it only because it suited the moment. Johanna herself said that she experienced that she wasn't properly heard or seen in her teens. Her sister, though, thought that she was a great sister who always said the right things and supported her throughout their youths. Johanna and her mother had always had a bit of a strained relationship. As she got older, Johanna rarely talked to her mother at all. After her youngest son was born, she decided to make a dream come true. So she applied for university to get a degree in social studies and work as a social worker. This was because she wanted to help people. According to her, that was just who she was. During the influx of refugees from Syria in 2015, Johanna Möller opened the Pagelius family home. The entire family worked there to help these families, and in the first year, the company earned 7 million Swedish crowns. At one point, Möller even takes in kids to live with them, even if they lived in quite a small apartment and already had quite a few kids of her own. It has also been implied that these kids were over the age of 15. She met her first husband, Aki Passila, a single father of two, on the internet in 2011. They quickly fell in love and moved in together. Together, they now had 6 children to care for. But not long into their relationship, she becomes pregnant with twins. They secretly get married and even spend their honeymoon in Egypt. While there, Aki, Johanna's now husband, gets mysteriously sick with something. Just a few months before this, an insurance was taken in Aki's name for 2.5 million Swedish crowns. So it seemed like their relationship was perfect. They were happy, pregnant, and got married. But that was all a facade. Johanna had often complained to her parents that Aki was violent and had several times called them to come over and help her, but then just to call back and say that he had calmed down and they didn't need to come over anymore. It is worth noting that no one else had seen this side of Aki. She had even gotten her parents, mostly her father, to help her get another apartment so that she could leave him. They didn't even know that Johanna and Aki got married. In August of 2015, they had been at her parents' summer house, and he had walked down to the pier further down and not come back. He was found in the shallow waters. He had drowned in the lake. But was it a drowning accident or was it actually murder? She tells family and friends different stories. Among them was that he had a heart attack, and another was that he fell down from a working platform, but in reality, he was found by the lake. The water was shallow, and Aki could swim and was in good shape, but it was ruled as an accident at first. 4 days. 4 days after his death, Möller requested the money to be paid out. The insurance company, EF, where the insurance was made, found this weird and started an investigation. They noticed in email correspondence with supposedly Aki that they were never signed with a name. Johanna Möller was also the only beneficiary. It was also not taken out that long ago. All of this pushed them to put pressure on the court to investigate. A preliminary investigation on suspicion of murder is started by a prosecutor, and Möller is arrested in March of 2017. On several occasions, she had asked family, friends, and others to help her hurt or even kill her husband. This led her to be convicted of instigation to murder. They deemed it to be impossible to drown at such a shallow level of water without either a culprit or if he had passed out in the water. But they didn't find enough algae in his lungs for him to have died in the water. According to the prosecutor, the culprit must have either drowned, choked, or put a bag over his head to kill him. Möller was later exonerated from this conviction since there was not enough evidence of her actually murdering him. But she was still convicted of machinations since she on several occasions had said that she wanted to see him hurt or dead. Now to the story that made Johanna Möller the most hated woman in Sweden. August 3rd, 2016, around 11 at night, the police get an alert from a woman saying that she has been attacked and is dying, that her husband is already dead. The little summer home is far out in Arboga, and not knowing what they're about to walk into is stressful for the officers. When police arrive, they don't know if the culprit is still there, and they find out from the dispatcher that there is a hunting rifle at the house. Looking in through the window, they see a woman sitting in the couch. She is severely hurt and bleeding. They get in and call forth the ambulance that is waiting for the clear. Upstairs in the bed, they find a man and quickly understands that he is already dead. There was no evidence of robbery, just a murder and murder attempt. In most cases, when it comes to murder at a home, it's usually someone close to the victim. Therefore, the mother was the first suspect and was arrested that same night. But already in the ambulance, when asked if they had anyone who wanted to hurt them, she answered her own daughter, Johanna. They quickly decide to look into the daughter, and on August 4th, they interrogate Möller for the first time. On August 5th, they drop their suspicions on the mother. And on August 7th, they interrogate Rajabi for the first time and Möller for the second time. The main suspects are now 41-year-old Johanna Möller and her 20-year-old boyfriend Mohammed Rajabi. The first time they were arrested was in the middle of August in Arlanda airport while on their way to Thailand. A little suspicious if you ask me. But on the 19th of August, they were released because they denied all involvement in the murder, which led the prosecutor to believe that there was no reason for them to be detained. There were theories that they were actually released because of police tactics, because after this, Johanna's car was bugged, and they overheard this conversation between the pair. "We have to deny. Do you understand? As soon as we are married, we can go abroad," says Johanna Möller in one of the intercepted conversations. "They may have put a transmitter on our car. Do you understand? Transmitter. See where we are? Yes, that's for sure. Not fun. They have full surveillance over us." "Yes," answers Mohammed Rajabi. "It's serious. It's murder." Mohammed Rajabi laughs. "Do you understand?" says Johanna. Yes. I don't want to be convicted of murder or aiding and abetting murder. Yes. Sit in prison for 10 years? Do you understand? Aiding and abetting murder. No thanks. Did that a little bit dramatic. I don't think it was exactly that dramatic. Yes. I actually did not hear it because they have not released like the sound. But they have released a transcript of the this conversation. And I have translated it for you, just so you know. FYI. Oh, I felt old saying that. I'm sorry. Just a few days later, she travels to Thailand, while Rajabi travels to Norway. The plan is to meet up there and start over. But the suspicion around them only increases, especially after the police finds the father's blood in Johanna's car. They were intercepted and arrested in their hotel room in Trondheim. Both Johanna and Mohammed denied any involvement in the murder. Johanna even tells 9 different stories of what she did on the night of the murder. Some of them being, was shopping for food in a store but had forgotten her payment card, sold sex to several men at a gas station outside of Kungsör, a pimp she named turned out to be in jail at the time, met an arms dealer. According to Johanna's own statement, she needed a weapon to protect herself. Was at home in the apartment in Eskilstuna, drove Mohammed Rajabi to Katrineholm, bought a soda at a gas station. Mohammed Rajabi told 12 different versions of what happened that night, but eventually on the 29th of December 2016, he confessed. I, Mohammed Rajabi, born 1996-01-08, confessed to murder of redacted and attempted murder of redacted. Now I tell you that it was me who, together with Johanna, carried it out. There was no other person who was involved in carrying it out except me and Johanna. According to Rajabi, Johanna had been nagging him about killing her parents, and he had refused for a really long time. But then one night, they drove out to the summer house and he realized that it was time. Johanna drives and he notices a grocery bag inside her purse. In it, there is a knife wrapped in a sweatshirt and a pair of gloves. You have to kill my parents, she tells him. He didn't say a word as he stepped out of the car and walked up to the house. He checked the surroundings and noticed that the door was unlocked and entered the home. He made his way up to the second floor where their bedroom was. Stood outside it for 30 minutes, according to his testimony. He wanted to leave, but then entered anyway. He first stabbed the husband and then attacked the mother when she woke from the commotion. When he finished the deed, he ran back to the car where Johanna was dozing off. They quickly drove away, and on their way back to Eskilstuna, they threw the knife in the water by Västerbron. As we already know, Johanna told many different stories about what she was doing that night, and when pressed on it, she only replied with that she was living with a lot of stress and took things from different stories until she believed them herself. When the prosecutor reads an excerpt from a police interrogation where Johanna says that she wants to see her mother dead, she breaks down crying. At one point, she even accuses her own son for the murder, and then changed it to her brother-in-law instead, adamant that Rajabi was not involved in the case. This did cause a lot of distrust among the family members, and in an interview with the son, he tells us that his grandmother actually asked him if he had done it, and this absolutely destroyed him. He couldn't believe the fact that anyone could ever do such a thing to his grandparents, and even less that his own grandmother would believe him to be the murderer. In April of 2017, the couple was charged, and in the 7,000-page long judicial investigation, it is evident that the motive was jealousy and money. Apparently, Johanna was a big spender, and even with 70,000 Swedish crowns a month, which is a lot of money, she couldn't get the economy to get around. She even got an allowance from her father. I have no words, okay? At the amount of money that this is. Crazy. Not only that, but it was revealed that her company was failing and she had been evicted from the apartment her father owned. At the same time, a film of her having intercourse with 2 refugee boys was released to the press. I want to point out that I believe them to be over the age of 18 because I couldn't find anything about her having any conviction or anything like that about her having like intercourse with minors. Just so you know. They had been judged to be guilty, but were they suffering from mental illnesses that could affect their sentences? Because Johanna had said to be mentally unwell, and Rajabi was a refugee. 33 kilograms of evidence material in paper form was sent to the National Board of Forensic Medicine in Huddinge, where Johanna was examined, and Göteborg, where Rajabi was examined. They were examined and evaluated by a team of doctors for 4 weeks. Like we talked about earlier, Johanna had a pretty normal upbringing, but a bit of a strained relationship with her mother. She did suffer from panic disorder and often felt as if her parents favored her sister, like she wasn't good enough. But if that were the case, would they actually help her as much as they did? Like monthly allowances, and they helped her get in a new apartment that her father owned. Like, he owned 95% of it. Like, paid 95% of the apartment. When it came to romantic relationships, she said that they were often calculated from the start, and she rarely or ever was emotionally invested in any of her relationships. Mohammad Rajabi was born and raised in Iran under demanding circumstances. And when he was 15, he had to start working to support the family. He quit school and earned money through odd jobs. Quite early on, he came in contact with alcohol and drugs. And then in 2015, he came to Sweden. By the end of the evaluations, they were deemed to be not suffering from any mental illnesses. And by the 27th of February, they got their sentences. Muhammad Rajabi got 14 years for the murder on Johanna Möller's father and murder attempt on her mother. Johanna Möller, for instigating and plotting murder and murder attempt, gets a lifetime in prison. She still denies her involvement and sent in an appeal to the Svea Court of Appeal. There has been several documentaries and the like of this case, where they have discussed if Johanna was sentenced fairly. What's interesting about this case is the fact that there is actually no real evidence of Johanna being there or being involved, but she was still sentenced to lifetime in prison. There are quite a few who believe that Johanna was either wrongfully sentenced or got a too harsh sentence. And I actually watched a docuseries where they went through all the court documents and all the court hearings and interrogations. And there are quite a few holes in this case. And some believe that they based the verdict on the last of all the 12 different versions that Rajabi told. Now, it is worth noting that Johanna also had many different versions of what happened, but what they found worrisome in this docuseries was that they almost seemed like they immediately believed Rajabi when he said that he was confessing. It was almost as if they wanted Johanna Möller to be the mastermind behind it all. But I guess we will never know the complete truth, because she is still denying and he is not talking about it anymore. That was all I had on Arboga Kvinnan, the woman from Arboga, and the summer house murder. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but like script-wise, it is like 6 to 7 pages. I had my script here, that's why. And currently I am at 1 hour in filming, and I did fail a lot and forgot to pause, but a little over an hour of video that I have to go through. Oh well. Like I said, this is probably the most extensive research I've ever made for a case so far. Like, I usually read articles, I watch documentaries, I listen to pods, and look up court documents, but sometimes I don't always do the last one because I don't need to. But this time I read court hearings that was over 300 pages long, okay? And I watched 3 different documentaries about this case because there is so much information, and like I couldn't find, oh sorry, and I couldn't find like that much about the fraud thing, but I wanted to add it because I feel like that was quite an important part to that case. If you did watch this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss another video. I do want to mention that I have started a Ko-Fi. I might start a Patreon in the future, but that's a problem for later on. If I did, what kind of content or what would you want on Patreon in that case? Comment down below. Give me some ideas. But anyways, for now, I will stick with Ko-Fi. So if you want to support me, head over there, buy me a coffee. I do have a goal set on the page because I am currently trying to save up for a proper camera. I am filming on my phone, and my ring light just died, so I'm actually it's so dark. I've used a flashlight. I've used a flashlight for filming this because it was dark and then it got light. I was like, I needed some light. So I need to buy a new ring light as well. So if you want to help me with that, you know, there's a link in my bio for, bio? No. There's a link in my description box for my Ko-Fi. And you don't have to, it's just like, if you want to. But yeah, whatever. Sorry. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and each other, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Blah blah blah. Because this was because she wanted to help people. This was because she wanted to help people. This was because she wanted to help people. Sounds like it looks like I have a spotlight on me right now. During the influx of refugees from Syria in 2015, Johanna Möller, March of 2017. A preliminary, oh my god, what the fuck? Upstairs in the bed, they find a man. My god. You're dead? Are you kidding me? Okay.